that's what I like to hear.
Should we start? Okay, welcome to the panel on IDW and their bro. Is that your idea? No comment. Bro is here. On the panel, we have Mr. Larry Hama. Started off well. Robert Atkins. Costa, Denton, Tipton, and Hasbro's very own Michael Kelly. We're going to be talking about three different, we'll call them franchises here. We're going to be talking about Transformers and G.I. Joe, and for the first time at any convention talking about Dungeons and Dragons. Any D&D fans out here? You're gonna hate this guy. Denton's out of you know? Done. They're awesome. They're really good. You already hate them one time. Alright, so we're gonna talk about some D&D Transformers, some G.I. Joe, so we'll just get started. Alex Irvine is coming, so he'll be here later. Right now he's doing the signing.
A little louder, Andy.
Louder?
Yeah.
All right. Alex Irvine is coming later. All right. We'll start with Transformers. Transformers, the ongoing series, issue 13 is the start of a new story arc. That issue is sort of a standalone issue, more or less. Mike, you want to talk about it at all? Yes, issue 13. By the way, that's his cover.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Well,
that's very nice. Don Figueroa? Geez. Well, is anybody here reading the Transformers book? So, yeah, the current storyline that just started in the last issue wraps up in issue 12, and then finally, much to the delight, I'm sure, of a lot of fans, we get off of Earth and go into space for a little while. We find out where Hot Rod went at the end of issue 6. I didn't forget about him. And then we bring back all the Decepticons we've been missing for so long for a big 5-part arc that runs 14 through 18. 14 through 18, yeah. So that's, I don't know how much I should say. I mean, I wanted to read the book. Yeah, it's going to be really good, though. A lot of horrible things happen. The Decepticons, they do a lot of damage.
We've got Drift miniseries coming out.
Woo!
Featuring the origin of Drift. It's written by Shane McCarthy with art by Alex Milne. And we reveal some secrets of the third faction, which we read back in one of the Megatron. And we're introducing Lockdown into the I believe that was Denton's idea, wasn't it? Lockdown?
Yes, it was.
You want to talk a little bit about that, Denton?
Sure. It's going to be 4 issues. We're going to be shipping them bi-weekly in September and October. Josh Perez is going to be coloring. I know he's got a lot of Transformers fans out there, so we're happy to see that. But yeah, there's not a lot of other robots that you'll recognize because it's going to be mostly the third faction. Lockdown will probably be about the only Decepticon that we've seen at present. There'll be some flashbacks when we'll get to see basically more of Drift's interaction with the Decepticons, and we'll also learn the reasons for his change over to the other side. And we wanted to basically give this book as much juice as possible, introduce some characters that haven't been in the IDW universe and some that haven't been in any Transformers book before. And another one, Alpha Trion, will be making his IDW debut. And I'm sorry, Die Atlas. Sorry, still I was thinking of Ironhide,
I'm a great series.
Yeah, fantastic great art by Hama. So yeah, that's about all I really want to tell you about right now. But it'll be coming out bi-weekly, September through October now. So IDW is doing the incentive covers, so they're really nice, but they'll be kind of hard to track down. So you better hound your retailers to see it.
Oh, also, just to throw, I didn't mention this, but the art on issue 13 of the ongoing will be done by Nick Roche, and then the 5-part Decepticon arc that follows will be the triumphant return of Danny Don Figueroa. So that's who we have on our issue who said that. I was just thinking about me.
Yeah, you were.
Because I wrote it.
So you were totally selfish. All right, you guys read Transformers Last Stand on the Records?
Oh, yeah!
Great book, and James and Nick have graciously donated some extras. I don't usually talk about trade paperbacks a lot on the panels, but this one I will. We've got some cool extras in the back, some new actual story material, so if you like the 5 issues that we produced, you'll probably like this even more. It's a full-on prose story written by James. It's pretty darn good. So I thought I'd point that out.
I did.
In the movie universe, we're watching Transformers Sector 7, the story of the Simmons family into the dawn of the Transformers. It's written by John Barber and with art by Joe Suter. Joe's art is the one on the right, and the cover on the left is by Brian Green. It's a very different kind of story than we've done in the Transformers movie universe in the past. We're pretty excited about it, and it's definitely worth checking out. John has been a comic creator for about 10 years, and has spent a lot of time at Marvel as an editor. It's really coming into his own here. But I think you'll like it.
And here comes Alex Irvine.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Oh, he's so
What did I miss?
Nothing.
We'll start over.
Also coming up in October, a Transformers Prime original graphic novel written by Mike Johnson and illustrated by a couple of different artists, but is the prequel to the Transformers Prime television show premiering also in October on The Hub. You guys hear about that show yet? Yeah! Are you excited about the show? All right. Well, then you'll like this book.
Just a correction there, it's premiering in November.
Yes, it's premiering in November. But the book is premiering in October. And so I'm still half right, which is about my normal average.
Do you want to mention a little bit more about Mike Johnson, who he is?
Mike's a comic book writer and a screenwriter. Mike's written Superman, Batman, a host of others. He wrote the Star Trek Countdown limited series. Do you have any Star Trek fans out here? And he actually works with Alex Kurtzman and Roberto Orsi directly, so that was very helpful with Star Trek. And we're doing a very similar thing, but that Countdown series was remarkably successful. We're doing a very similar thing. This is just rolling right into the TV show. So it's a real thing. I suppose all this And I'm going to let Denton go ahead and take the horn here, because he is our helmsman.
I'm your dungeon master, that's right. So basically we're going to kick this off with the 0 issue, and what was that, August 11th is actually we got the due date, and so it'll be in stores August 11th. It's going to be $1. We're going to get a story on we're doing an ongoing series, and there's a story on that spins into that. We're also doing a Dark Sun mini-series, and then there's a story in there that's going to spin into that. So it's a nice launch. And on the ongoing debuts in November, we got John Rogers writing. Some of the Transformers fans know him. He wrote the first screenplay on the first movie. He's also created and producing Leverage. It's a great TV show if you haven't checked it out. They're going to have a panel tomorrow, though. I think he's going to be able to make it. And art choice will be Andrea DeVito. Probably know him from Marvel books like Nova, Annihilation. Did a fantastic run on Thor that just saw that and he was just born to draw this book. And here's his character designs. And yeah, it's just fantastic art. We've got our regular cover artist is Tyler Walpole. And you may remember him, if you're a D&D fan, he did a lot of the covers to the Forgotten Realms, the Drizzt adaptations. And he's really good. We've also got Wayne Reynolds doing covers for our launches. So those are fantastic. You probably recognize those from the Player's Handbook cover and Dungeon Master Guide. He's all over the places. Really well known for the brand, so it's really great that he was able to do the covers for us. And here's a couple more of the character designs. And then here's the character design for our two main characters for Dark Sun. Be written by Irvine. And we've got Peter Bergtine is the artist. He's Swedish, and he's got a book called The Portent that just became an international smash. He's not quite as well known over here, but he's got this. He's also doing another book for EA, so I think you'll be hearing his name a lot here pretty soon. The covers are by Andy Brazé, right? Brazé. And he's done a lot of stuff for Marvel. He's done some Cole covers for Dark Horse, and it's really
Andy's stuff is just phenomenal. It's just amazingly detailed. He's done a lot of role-playing game illustration and stuff you might be familiar with, but if you get a chance to see him at a convention, check out his portfolio. It's just mind-blowing. It's really good.
Yeah, and he's actually friends with Brom, who did the original Dark Sun art, so he's really perfect for it. And Alex will tell you a little bit about the story.
Okay. Well, the big fellow on the left there is named Rubik. He's a broken-hearted mole gladiator who's in love with a woman who he thinks has spurned him and caused him to be sold back into slavery. He doesn't want to be a slave. So,
you speaking of Michael a bit more?
I don't think Mike's on.
Nope, Mike's not on. I'll yell.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, is it? Okay. Do I need to start over again?
I don't think it's on.
I'm just projecting. How about this one? Hey, all right.
If you didn't know, Alex is a college professor, so he knows how to project his voice.
I can
out to the audience.
pontificate with anybody. All right, so the guy on the left here is Grubik. As I was saying, he's a mole gladiator who has fallen in love with a mysterious noblewoman and thinks that she has spurned him and caused him to be sold back into slavery. Okay, he decides he doesn't want to be a slave. He breaks out of the slave market and ends up out in the middle of the desert. In Athens, this is a bad place to be, especially if you're a city guy like Irvine who doesn't know his way around. Well, enter the guy on the right, dune trader and bard and gadabout named Aki, who is a part-time slave hunter who heads out to bring Irvine back. They discover when they come into contact out in the middle of nowhere that things are not what either of them had assumed, and that Grubik might be in possession of an extremely interesting artifact that might also be extremely valuable, which means that they have all of a sudden all kinds of people looking for both of them, and they have to sneak back into Tyr, and that's all I'm going to tell you. Right? Unless I have to.
No, that's good.
Switching gears over to G.I. Joe. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
We're going to talk about G.I. Joe Origins number 19, written by Mr. Larry Hama, with art by Joe Benitez, and a story that for at least the slide I'm calling Silent Crescendo, because I thought that sounded fun. Larry, do you want to take a second to talk about it?
I wrote this story what they used to call Archie Goodwin style. There's no dialogue or captions in it. I wrote it by drawing the layouts.